The film tells the story of a high school girl named Nilsson. Because of her looks, she is often bullied at school by the popular students. Her only friend is Amy. Before meeting a certain classmate, Nilsson had had no one to talk to during the 16 years of her life, so she created an imaginary friend named Eno, who appears whenever she's alone and needs someone to talk to. One morning, she gets ready for school. Eno accompanies her and is very enthusiastic because he feels that something wonderful is about to happen again. He praises her optimism, but urges her to hurry, as any good friend would. On the way to school, Nilsson is approached by Rotai. They talk about a new comic book that Amy managed to get the last copy of. Surprisingly, Nilsson's favorite character isn't the hero, but the villain. She admires him because he's passionate about what he does. This admiration spills into real life as a little crush on a boy who resembles that comic book villain. His name is Rotai, the popular boy everyone fears. Coincidentally, while she's thinking about him, he walks up to her and returns a keychain that fell from her bag. It's the first time a boy has been kind to her, so she's especially happy that it was her crush. Rotai tells her to be more careful and then walks away. She's left alone, and Eno notices how much she likes Rotai, but keeps his thoughts to himself. Nilsson, on the other hand, becomes even more excited. She feels like many good things are finally coming her way. Later that day, she and Amy meet at a cafe. Amy seems upset about something, but Nilsson doesn't notice. They continue reading the comic when a group of 3 bullies approaches. Amy knows they bring trouble and does her best to ignore them. One of the bullies grabs the comic and refuses to give it back. The meanest girl in the group, Momo, claims she wants to borrow that comic because she's been waiting 10 years to read it. When Amy refuses, they threaten to kill her. On the way home, things start to spiral out of control, but then someone appears to help. Nilsson's father arrives, a businessman whose influence makes even the bullies back down. He bangs on the boys' car and sends them away. He also gives Nilsson his number so she can call him if they trouble her again. After school, Nilsson is scrolling through social media and sees that Rotai has liked some of his photos. Having learned what happened earlier, Amy begins to believe that Rotai might have feelings for Nilsson. As they talk about him, Rotai's name flashes on Nilsson's phone. She rushes outside to meet him. Rotai asks why she looked upset, then confesses that he likes her and wants to take her out. Nilsson doesn't believe him at first. She's not used to male attention. But when he leans in to kiss her, her dream seems about to come true. She closes her eyes, breathing in, but the kiss never comes. Instead, Rotai takes a photo of her at her most vulnerable moment and sends it to everyone at school. It's then revealed that he never liked her. He only pretended to in order to humiliate her. The bullies join him. Nilsson is devastated. She realizes she was never his interest. He's cruel and calculated, a sociopath who rules the school and uses his father's influence to terrorize people for fun. He tells her she must take responsibility for becoming his slave. She must obey him whenever he demands, and he can do whatever he wants to her. Nilsson is still in shock, but she understands that her life will become a living hell from now on. It also becomes clear that Rotai's prank was not the bully's original plan. She had been singled out and threatened for a reason. The scene cuts to 1 month later. Nilsson has turned off her phone and hasn't left the house since the bullying incident. She sleeps through the day, drowning in depression. Her only companion is her imaginary friend, Eno, who grows tired of seeing her like this. One day, he advises her to take revenge. The poor girl never imagined she could stand up to the bullies, but the suggestion motivates her enough to do something. In the next scene, Nilsson completely changes her lifestyle. She controls her diet and starts exercising to lose weight. She even wrapped herself tightly with adhesive tape, nearly suffocating for hours, driven by her desire for revenge. Beyond losing weight, she focused on changing her attitude and gaining confidence. Exactly 1 year later, Nilsson had become a completely different person, slimmer, more confident than ever. Yet she couldn't help but feel nervous, for the time had come to finally confront her fears. The first person she targeted was Minai, the least important member of the bully group. She began by accidentally bumping into him and pretending to mistake him for someone else. Minai was instantly enchanted. Now that Nilsson fit the beauty standards, he flirted for a while before they exchanged numbers. Nilsson, already excited with her progress, prepared herself for the next stage of her plan. Later that day, Rotai noticed that Min-ai had been glued to his phone, which annoyed him. He never allowed even his closest friends to act without his approval. They couldn't even be in a relationship without his permission. Yet they endured his controlling nature just to stay close to him. When he realized something was off with Min-ai, Rotai jokingly threatened to kill his girlfriend. Meanwhile, Amy was still secretly working as the group's servant, buying things for them. This time, she had forgotten to bring their cigarettes. The last member of the group, Mina, was the kindest one, always interrupting the bullies when they tormented others and warning Nilsson to be careful, since her brother was always around. Soon after, she called Nilsson and they met again. Nilsson was shocked by the way Min-ai spoke to her now. His behavior irritated her, as it reminded her of all the misery she had endured because of him. Min-ai suddenly confessed that he liked her, but Nilsson rejected him, saying she was focused on her plans and couldn't be distracted. The next day, Min-ai sold his phone and video games to get money for her. Nilsson was surprised but unimpressed. Instead, she mocked him by repeating the same words they once used to humiliate her. She would return the money in 10 years. Min-ai didn't understand the hint and was shocked when she threw the cash at him and walked away. Desperate, he asked her why. Nilsson looked him in the eye and declared that she despised all the bullies, and he was one of them. In response, Min-ai swore he would leave the group and change if it meant Nilsson would stay with him. Later, when Min-ai was being bothered by the group again, Nilsson stepped in, inventing an excuse to save him. Rotai immediately noticed her presence and was startled by how beautiful she looked. Despite his suspicion, he was extremely friendly, to the point that he even asked for her number. Momo wasn't happy about the interaction, as she was in love with Rotai and considered herself his girlfriend. When Rotai forced Nilsson to give him her number, Min-ai tried to interfere, but Rotai pushed him aside. Though angry that she had gotten involved in his business, Rotai quickly forgot everything when Nilsson hugged him, joking that she was 10% in love with him, which only made him want to try harder to win her over completely. That night, Ino asked Nilsson if she was doing the right thing. Her new attitude worried him, as he could see how much she had changed in the past year. Nilsson, however, felt no guilt and was happy to use Hyukjae, Min-ai, for her benefit. The story then cuts to a flashback. After trying countless methods to lose weight, including the tape method, Nilsson still hadn't made much progress. One day, Rotai visited her, worried because she hadn't shown up at school for over 2 months. He discovered her little revenge plan and mocked her, telling her that being thinner or more confident would never change who she truly was. To him, she would always be a punching bag, a loser that no one liked. His visit pushed Nilsson into another spiral of depression, and she ultimately did the unthinkable. At her funeral, a miracle occurred. For the first time, her older sister Sia, who had been living far away and never knew what Nilsson had gone through, returned home. Upon learning about the bullies, she vowed to avenge her sister's death. Thus, the confident young woman who returned to school wasn't Nilsson at all. It was her sister, Sia. A few days later, Sia confronted Rotai. She claimed that Min-ai was only a friend and then tried to seduce him. She wanted them to fight each other and end up destroying one another. Without much effort, she managed to get their numbers exchanged and agreed to go out one day. Later, Sia invited Min-ai to her house, and while they were watching TV, he tried to kiss her. At that exact moment, the phone rang. It was Rotai calling. She answered, pretending she had been forced to give Min-ai her number, and agreed to go out with Rotai the next day. Min-ai, deceived and furious, believed her words and grew even angrier toward his former best friend. He promised to get rid of Rotai at all costs, much to Sia's delight. That night, he lured Rotai into an alley, ready to attack him with a baseball bat. But to his surprise, before he could strike, someone else knocked him down. A week passed with no sign of Min-ai, and Sia began to worry that her plan might have failed. Despite everything, she was still forced to keep seeing Rotai. Terribly nervous, she prepared for their 2-month anniversary. Rotai showed up to apologize for his behavior, giving her a golden lighter as a gift. But Sia was not someone who forgave easily. She gathered a few friends to give him a lesson. They attacked his girlfriend, but Rotai retaliated brutally, beating them all. Strangely, no one dared to stop him. He then gave Sia a final warning: never bother him again. Mina, the kindest member of the group, apologized to Sia for everything. She admitted she had never truly been cruel, and asked Sia to leave her out of it. Now the only person left to deal with was Rotai. In the next scene, we see a violent fight between Rotai, Min-ai, and Sia. They stabbed each other, leading to everyone's death. Suddenly, the setting shifts. We are inside a psychiatric hospital. Ino is revealed not as an imaginary friend, but as Sia's doctor, treating her for multiple personality disorder. In a shocking twist, it's revealed that Rotai and the bullies never existed. They were all fragmented personalities of Sia herself. Over the past year, her disorder had worsened, giving birth to violent personas. Rotai was the dominant one, capable of suppressing the others. In reality, Sia had killed her own sister, Nilsson. Consumed by guilt, she invented the elaborate story of Nilsson being bullied as a way to avoid responsibility. Ino, her doctor all along, explained that he had managed to erase all of Sia's personalities except for Rotai. If she couldn't let go of him, she would remain locked away forever. A few days later, Rotai's personality finally disappeared. The doctors believed the treatment had worked, and Sia was sentenced to only a short time in prison due to her illness. In the final scene, Sia is released. She talks with Ino about life, when suddenly she pulls out a lighter identical to the one Rotai once gave her. The moment sends chills, revealing that the killer within Sia might still be alive somewhere inside her. This is the end. Like and subscribe to help an unemployed person. Comment anything. Bye-bye.